You awaken to the soft glow of morning light bleeding to the edge of the doorway. The air, already warm and still, thick with the scent of baked clay and sweet palm sap. Your mat is rough beneath you, but familiar, pressed flat by countless nights of still, unbroken rest. You rise slowly, letting the silence of the world settle over your shoulders like a shawl. There are no clocks, no alarms, only the steady rhythm of the Nile whispering in the distance, calling the village to life without urgency. You slip outside, the sun painting long shadows across the dusty path where chickens peck lazily and a cat stretches atop a pile of worn baskets. Your feet know every stone and crack in the earth, every curve of the worn path to the water. You carry a clay jar balance on your hip, its cool weight grounding you, the smell of the river already in your nose before it comes into view. You reach the bank and pause. The Nile moves slow like breath. Reeds sway gently at the edges, and a single ibis lifts off in silence, wings wide and white against the pale sky. You kneel and dip the jar into the water, careful not to spill, feeling the coolness run up your arms, the ripples folding back into themselves like secrets. As you stand and turn, the village hums faintly, someone grinding grain, someone calling to a child, the scrape of a wooden door swinging shut. Back at your home, the fire is low but still alive. You feed it patiently, coaxing smoke from the embers, the scent of yesterday's ashes rising in the gentle air. You grind emmer wheat with smooth hands, the motion circular, calming, rhythmic, and the stone sings softly beneath your fingers. You mix the flour with water, knead it into dough, shape flat rounds, and place them near the fire, watching them puff and brown as the sun climbs. Breakfast is simple, warm bread, a few olives, water from the jar, and eaten in silence, not from custom, but because the silence feels right. The day stretches ahead without haste. You carry tools to the field, a worn hoe, a small basket, a bit of twine. The soil is dry but rich, and each row you tend offers not just food, but something older, deeper, a connection passed to the hands of ancestors. A breeze stirs the leaves of the fig tree nearby, bringing with the sound of flute played somewhere unseen, each note rising like mist into sun. Children run past, laughing in high, bright voices, their joy echoing briefly before fading again into hush of midday. You pause to drink, the water sweet on your tongue, and rest beneath a palm, your back against its trunk, the ground firm and warm beneath you. Insects buzz gently in the heat, and the sky overhead deepens to a soft, golden hue. Later, you return to the village with your basket half full, your limbs tired in a familiar, comforting way. You stop by a neighbor's doorway, exchange quiet greetings, share a few dried figs, a small joke that brings a smile without sound. You pass by the shrine, place a sprig of fresh herb at its base, bow your head for a moment, not to speak, but to feel something sacred and unspoken. Back home, the evening begins. You light the small fire again, prepare a pot of lentils with garlic and cumin, the aroma weaving its way through the walls, through the slow-moving dusk. You eat again, cross-legged, the food warm in your belly, the clay bowl heavy and smooth in your hands. Night descends slowly. Stars blink into place one by one, soft and endless. You climb to the rooftop, your mat already waiting, the sky wide and calm above you. You lie back, hands folded on your chest, and listen to the final sounds of village. Distant footsteps, a final whisper, the creak of a door settling shut. The Nile flows, as it always has, steady and eternal. You breathe in the warm night, feel your body soften into stillness, and drift towards sleep, cradled by earth, river, and stars. You dream you never left, because the day seems to return without interruption, as if sleep was simply a soft breath between hours. The morning arrives again, not with urgency, but with quiet insistence, the way sunlight slowly fills the room through the thin reed shutters and birds call softly from the palm frond above. Your body is already awake before your eyes open, used to the rhythm of a life shaped by nature's pace. You sit up slowly, stretch your arms over your head, and take a deep breath of warm, dust-scented air. The fire is cold, but the embers whisper beneath the ash, needing only a gentle breath and a few dry twigs to return to life. Your hands move automatically, practice in the ritual of morning. You shape more bread, Roll it with the heel of your palm against a board smoothed by years of repetition. And as it bakes, the smell of wheat and smoke blends with the growing warmth of the rising sun. Outside, the village is stirring slowly, the way the river stirs when a wind passes across its surface. Men lead donkeys down to the edge of the water. Women rinse linen on flat stones. Children chase chickens with bare feet slapping against the ground. The sound of everyday life floats in the air like dust in a sunbeam, faint, golden, always in motion. Today you carry woven mats to trade, folded neatly in a basket balanced atop your head, walking the familiar path past groves of date trees and cracked walls painted with faded glyphs. The path curves gently, carved by generations of footsteps, lined with worn stones that remember every soul that has passed over them. A merchant greets you with a nod, gestures toward his jars of honey, his bundles of dried lotus, his piles of red ochre and ground malachite. You trade simply, no words wasted, only eyes and hands doing the work of trust. Later, back beneath the eaves of your home, you rinse your feet in cool water and sit in the shade, peeling vegetables in a shallow clay dish, the knife worn thin from use. Overhead, the sky has settled into its midday stillness, the blue so wide it seems to stretch forever, and the air vibrates with the heat that rises from the ground in slow, wavy ribbons. You sip a cup of barley water, cool and tart, and listen to the low murmur of someone nearby telling a story. Something about crocodiles and spirits, about gods walking in disguise along the shore. You do not need to hear every word to feel the shape of the tale wrapping around you like a breeze. The world outside the village is distant, its noise muffled by the simplicity of your task, your place, your rhythm. In the evening, the golden light touches every surface, and the river glows like molten copper winding through the reeds. You sit at the edge, knees drawn to your chest, watching as boats glide silently by, their sails catching the last breath of wind before the world dims. A boy casts a net with slow precision, and the ripples spread outward like time itself. Behind you, smoke rises from the cooking fires. Voices soften. The village exhales. You return home, slip into clean linen, and lie once more on the rooftop mat where the stars slowly appear. The constellations are the same ones your grandparents watched, and there's before them, each star a tiny memory burning quietly in the sky. The wind brushes across your face, warm and dry. The hum of crickets begins, and as your eyes grow heavy, your breath slows to match the pulse of the land. The Nile flows on. Time forgets itself, and you fall softly back into sleep. The night passes slowly, like the river itself, smooth and unhurried, and by the time your eyes flutter open, the sky above you is a soft color of wet clay. You slept beneath the stars, a thin breeze brushing against your cheeks, and your limbs feel heavy in a way only rest can make them. You stretch, slowly, and the mat beneath you creaks softly with the weight of your body rising. The rooftops around you glow with the first touch of sun, casting long golden lines across the mud brick walls, and the air smells faintly of ash and warm dust. You make your way down the stairs, barefoot, your toes cool against the smooth stone. Inside, the house is dim and quiet. A few clay jars stand lined along the wall. A broom of bundled reeds leans in a corner, and a woven basket sits beside a low table, filled with dates gathered the day before. You pick one and chew it slowly, letting its sweetness melt into your tongue. No one is in a rush. There is never a rush. That is a way of this life, shaped not by clocks or alarms, but by the whispering pattern of wind, water, and need. The fire from last night is out. You gather a few twigs, dry leaves, and blow gently until the coals awaken again, soft orange blooming beneath a veil of smoke. The village, too, is waking. A distant voice calls out to an ox. Somewhere, a woman hums while sweeping her doorstep. Farther off, a flute plays 3 soft notes, then stops. Today your task is to help along the riverbank, tending the papyrus plants whose stalks are tall green and bending slightly in the breeze. You move slowly along the shallows, your feet half submerged in the muddy water, warm and full of darting fish. The scent of the Nile is everywhere, mineral-rich, soft, old. You cut stalks carefully, bundle them into piles, and lay them out to dry in the sun beside flat stones where they will later be pressed and shaped into sheets for scribes. This work is neither exciting nor dull. It is simply part of the great rhythm, a quiet pulse that has lasted longer than memory. By midday, your hands are damp and green-stained, but your mind is at peace. You walk slowly back to your home, passing small gardens where cucumbers twist along the ground and fig trees rustle quietly. You rinse your hands, sit beneath an awning of reeds, and eat a bowl of lentils mixed with herbs and a dash of vinegar. There is no need for conversation. Just the sound of birds fluttering in the rafters above, and the slow scrape of a neighbor's broom across stone. Afternoon drifts by like a long sigh. You rest in the shade, eyes half closed, body still. A cat curls beside you. Flies buzz lazily in the corner. The hours pass not with urgency, but like a warm breeze shifting from one room to the next. As the sun lowers again, casting the world in amber, you rise to pour water from a jar, then carry a bundle of dried stalks to the storehouse. A soft chant begins in the temple beyond the edge of the village, and its echo floats gently across the fields like a lullaby. You pause just for a moment, watching the columns of smoke rise straight into the darkening sky, and you feel a small, inexplicable joy. The kind that doesn't need to be named. The kind that lives quietly in the body, like the rhythm of your breath or the beating of your heart. Night arrives without a single sound. You lie back beneath the open sky, your mat warm from the day's sun, and your body cool now from the breeze slipping in from the river. Crickets begin their gentle chorus. The stars stretch endlessly above, and you feel yourself melting into stillness, wrapped in the same silence, the same calm, that has held this land since time itself began. And as your eyes fall shut, the world fades, not away, but into you, and sleep returns. You awaken not with a jolt, but with a gentle stirring, as though your breath returned before your body remembered how to move. The air is already warm, holding the scent of clay and distant cooking fires. The mat beneath you is familiar, shaped to your form, smooth from years of use. You do not need to open your eyes right away. The village around you breathes in its own rhythm. A donkey brays softly. A pot clinks against another. The soft hush of wind brushes the reed awning above, creating shadows that dance across your cheeks. When you finally rise, your muscles respond without protest. This is a life of slow repetition, and your body has learned its pace. You wash your face with water stored overnight in a cool jar. It drips down your neck, leaving clean lines through the dust of yesterday. You eat dates from a woven bowl and stretch your arms toward the ceiling as a soft breeze slips past, brushing the back of your neck like a blessing. There is no rush, only routine. You take a small basket and begin the day's walk toward the fields, not out of duty, but because that is what the day is for. The soil beneath your feet feels familiar. The same bends erode, the same grooves shaped by generations of sandals and carts. The sky is impossibly blue. Birds will slowly across it, silent and patient. A child passes by holding a bundle of reeds, and you nod. No words are exchanged. None are needed. The silence of this place is not empty. It is full of knowing. At the edge of the water, you kneel beside the stalks and begin collecting the ones that are ready. Each cut is slow, deliberate. You bundle them into twine and let them rest in the sun. Behind you, a soft splash reminds you that life in the Nile never stops. Fish twist and flick their silver bodies just beneath the surface, and frogs cling to the banks with lazy eyes, unconcerned by your presence. When the sun reaches its peak, you sit beneath a leaning palm tree and drink water from your jar, warm by the sun, yet still refreshing. You chew a small handful of dried figs, sticky and sweet, and close your eyes, letting your thoughts drift like papyrus boats on calm water. The heat settles on your shoulders like a heavy shawl, and the earth smells of life, wet green, slow. You walk back with your basket now full, balanced carefully atop your head. The shadows are longer, the air softer. Voices carry more gently through the village. A father calls to his son. A woman laughs behind shutter. You step through your doorway and lay your tools aside. A small dish of honey sits beside the mat. A cup of barley drink, thick and comforting. The home is dim but safe. A cat curls in the corner, eyes slitted but alert. You sit on the mat, legs crossed, and close your eyes, just for a moment, just to listen. The sounds of the day are fading. The crickets are beginning again. You light a tiny lamp, not for need, but for comfort. Its flame flickers, painting shadows on the wall that shift like ancient dances. You lie back, arms folded beneath your head. The ceiling is familiar. The stars begin to reveal themselves one by one, and you feel no urgency, no fear, no expectation, just warmth, just breath, just a quiet, endless rhythm of a world that turns without asking anything from you but your presence. You don't remember falling asleep. You simply became still, and the stillness deepened until it held you completely. And now, morning returns, not with brightness, but with the hush of a golden haze slipping through your doorway. The world outside is already alive, but gently so. A broom whispers against the ground somewhere. A neighbor's goat bleats once, then falls quiet. You stretch without moving. The clay walls around you are cool, the air already warm. No wind yet, just a thick, comforting silence that belongs only to early mornings in a desert village. You sit up slowly, pressing your palms a mat, and you breathe in the dusty air like it's part of prayer. You pour water from a jug into a shallow clay basin and rinse your face. It's not cold, not warm, just water, pure and quiet. The kind of water that has come from the river, been carried by hand, stored by care. Each drop is precious, and you feel its weight. You pull your shawl over one shoulder and step out into the open. The ground is still damp from the night's cool breath, but the sun is climbing. The light hits the village at a low angle, painting long shadows across the path. You nod to an old man weaving a basket by the gate. He doesn't speak. He just lifts his hand slightly, a gesture you've seen all your life. The village paths are narrow, dusty, but familiar. You know every curve, every spot where the ground dips or rises. You walk slowly, the hem of your linen robe brushing your ankles, your feet coated in soft sand. Today you will help in the date grove. The palms are tall, ancient, creaking gently in the rising breeze. Their shadows ripple across the earth like waves on still water. You reach for the basket tied to the tree's base. It's filled with ripe fruit, dark and sticky. You pluck more from the low branches and drop them in one by one, each with a soft thump. There is no urgency. The grove smells sweet and shaded, like old wood and warm sugar. Bees hum lazily nearby, drifting from palm to palm. You pause often to stretch your back, resting a hand against the tree's smooth trunk. When the sun grows heavier, you sit beneath a patch of shade and eat a handful of dates. They taste like the sun itself, dense, rich, familiar. You sip from your jar of water, cool and thick with river minerals. A few children run past in the distance, their laughter light and aimless. It feels far away, like music heard through fabric. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the world fall quiet again. When you return home, the heat is beginning to settle over everything like a heavy sheet. The clay walls hold it in, turning your small room into a warm cocoon. You press your back against the wall, sitting cross-legged with a small bowl of lentil mash beside you. You eat slowly, letting your fingers rest between bites. Nothing moves fast here. Not the food, not the light, not the thoughts. Afterward, you sit by the doorway, carving shallow lines into a piece of soft wood. You aren't making anything useful, just lines, just shapes. It is the act of doing, not the result, that matters. The cat returns, brushing against your leg. You let your hand fall into its fur, stroking slowly. The sun lowers. Shadows stretch. Someone begins singing across the way, a wordless tune, more breath than melody. You don't know when the song ends. It simply fades. You lie down once more, your mat cool against your back, the ceiling above beginning to darken. A single oil lamp flickers in the corner. The flame bends, wavers, steadies. And then you close your eyes. The Nile breathes outside. The palms rustle. The earth turns, slow and soundless. And you, like everything else in this soft, still night, drift quietly into sleep. You do not remember waking up. The soft rustle of fabric, the faint scent of incense still lingering from last night, and the cool hush of morning light sliding across the paper screen are all part of the moment when sleep becomes awareness. You sit quietly for a while, Your knees tucked beneath you on the tatama mat, hands resting in your lap, eyes half-lidded, watching the golden glow shift across the floorboards. No one rushes. No one speaks. The house is silent, except for the low bubbling of water in a kettle and the distant sound of a broom brushing stone. You rise slowly, folding your blanket with deliberate care, smoothing the fabric, adjusting its corners until everything feels balanced, peaceful, still. You dress without mirrors, without decoration, just layers of soft cotton, a sash wrapped twice around your waist, tied neatly. You step outside into the narrow wooden corridor, sandals brushing against the floor, and the air greets you like an old friend, fresh green, filled with the faint fragrance of wet earth and distant blossoms. A bird calls out once and is silent. The world breathes with you. You begin the day in the tea house, where you work not for wages but for quietness itself. You light a lantern, though the sun is already up. You wipe the low table with a damp cloth, moving in slow circles, each motion unhurried, like a soft breeze folding over water. You tend the garden, a space so small it fits in a glance, but perfect in its simplicity. Pebbles swept into deliberate lines, a single fern leaf trembling near the stone basin, water dripping slowly, endlessly. You listen to rhythm, but do not chase it. You prepare the tea with calm precision. Water poured from the kettle into the bowl, whisked gently, never fast. The green froth rises slowly, like clouds curling in a still sky. You carry it forward, both hands supporting the tray, and place it before the guest without a word. A bow, a pause, a breath. That is all. The hours pass like petals falling, quiet, unnoticed, soft. No clocks, no voices raised. You eat rice and pickled plum in the back room, sitting near the open screen, watching the light shift across the mossy stones outside. You drink warm barley tea, savoring the way it fills your chest with heat and stillness. You close your eyes for a moment. You can fall asleep here, upright, surrounded by nothing and everything at once. The wind rises gently. The paper walls rustle. Somewhere beyond the fence, someone plays a flute, one clear note at a time, not a song, just sound. You return to your duties without words. Fold the cloth, sweep the mat, replace the flowers, water the fern, prepare more tea. Everything the same, everything different. As evening falls, the sky turns soft gray and the lanterns flicker to life, casting golden circles on the floor. You bow to your elders, return home on quiet feet, and slide open your door. The room is just as you left it. You sit beside the small brazier, hands wrapped around a warm bowl of soup. You eat in silence. You breathe, and when the last light fades beyond the screen, you lie down on your mat once again, pull the blanket up to your shoulders, and close your eyes, letting the hush of the world fold over you like cloth, soft, slow, and endlessly still. The air is already thick with warmth as you step to the archway, your bare feet brushing across smooth, damp stone. Steam curls slowly from the water, winding up into high ceilings, catching the golden glow of the lanterns set into alcoves along the marble walls. You move quietly, almost floating, your linen wrapped soft against your skin, damp at the hem. You carry a bucket in one hand and a folded cloth in the other. The sounds around you are hushed, water lapping gently, sandals slapping softly on tile, the faint murmur of voices far off in the caldarium. You set down your bucket near the heated pool, kneel, and begin to scrub the edges of the basin with a rhythm so steady it feels like breathing. The bristles trace the curves of ancient stone. You pause to dip the cloth into warm water, wring it out slowly, and continue. There is no rush. There is no noise but the slow sigh of the baths exhaling their mist into the morning air. Patrons move around you like shadows, wrapped in towels, their faces flushed with heat. They recline on benches. They soak. They speak in low tones. You are not meant to speak. You sweep. You carry buckets. You refill lamps. You heat coals in the furnace, listening to the crackle of fire echo down long stone corridors. When a brazier dims, you replace the charcoal, blowing gently to bring it back to life. The warmth never leaves you here. It clings to your skin, wraps around your chest, fills your breath. Your hands are red from water and work, but the movement is soothing. You know each corner of this place, each echo, Each drop of condensation that runs down the tile. When the caldarium grows too loud, you slip away into the frigidarium. The cold air rushes past your cheeks like a whisper. The room is empty, silent, but for the quiet drip of water from the ceiling into a shallow pool. You sit on a low bench, close your eyes, and let the chill bring your heart rate down. You breathe. You listen. You do nothing. For a moment, there is no work. Only stillness. Only stone. When you rise again, you move toward the tepidarium, lighting a small oil lamp with practiced hands. You carry towels, folded neatly. You sweep wet footprints from the floor with a soft broom. You light incense and place it beside the mosaic of a reclining god. The scent of myrrh fills the air, mingling with the ever-present breath of steam. You pass beneath an arched window and catch the square of sunlight that falls through it. You pause just for a moment, letting the warmth touch your eyelids. Everything is golden here. Golden light, golden air, golden silence. You return to the work with the same softness. No one thanks you, but no one complains. That, too, is a gift. At the end of the day, when the halls begin to empty and the lanterns flicker low, you sit once more by the pool, dipping your feet into the warm water, your hands resting on your knees. The steam swirls upward. The stone beneath you is smooth, warmed by hundreds of years of footsteps. You close your eyes. You let the breath of the baths wash over you, and you feel for once as if time itself has fallen asleep beside you.